Hello, everyone, and welcome to SoundCheck Music School's podcast, episode 11. My name is Electra Barakos.
I'm Dan Welby.
What's going on, Dan?
Just hanging here in front of the ring light.
We got a ring light. That's what's new. We got a ring light. Well, Dan and I have decided to take on a few new endeavors while we're still in this weird phase of our lives, quarantine life of 2020.
We're not going to share what it is yet.
We're not sharing what it is yet, but we did get a ring light. So, and we are videotaping actually this podcast for the first time. So we may or may not post it. We'll see if we look good enough after the fact.
I know I will.
I need to check on my hair and my makeup, making sure, because I did just come back from work and I didn't do anything. I just put the headphones, let's do this. So we will review the video and possibly post it.
You always say everybody likes it raw, right?
Well, everybody else, but not particularly me.
Right on.
Anyways,
right. So,
but what's new today?
Yeah, well,
let's talk about the week for a second.
What
before
happened?
we get into the
topic.
topic.
Today's
Monday.
The week hasn't happened yet.
Well, last week.
Oh,
come on, man. What did we do this past weekend? I feel like we did. Oh, we took Maverick. Okay. Now, if we do post this video, you guys are going to have a chance to see Maverick. But Maverick right now is probably sleeping.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Or chewing on a sock.
Whoa. Or just move our camera.
Oh, man. Earthquake.
That was Maverick. He just moved our camera.
He's literally chewing on the foot of the stand right now. He's like scratching and chewing at the foot of the stand. Yeah. Maverick, don't do that, buddy.
This needs to stop.
No, this is not good. Oh, my God.
Hold on a second.
Oh, my God. No.
Okay.
No. We'll just keep it going.
Maverick.
Listen.
Maverick, come here, buddy. Okay, this is terrible. Okay, so let's just keep going on with the podcast here. Okay, so today I want us to talk about tuition policies from a teacher's perspective.
Yeah.
As to how to run their studio when it comes to scheduling, when it comes to receiving payments, and all that stuff. And basically we're going to share the way we've been doing it. That could be through the school and through not, right? Because like we've had experience teaching prior private students, running our own studio. Both of us have done that.
Yeah.
So we've had our own exclusive policies as well with our students.
Right. So this will apply to anybody doing it individually or a school who is looking to be able to do tuition for their entire clientele.
So let's start first with scheduling and payments and all that. At the school, we require that everybody's paid always in advance.
Hold on. Let's start like this, though.
Okay.
Let's just start with a general premise instead of getting into how we actually do it.
Sure.
At this time.
Okay.
The way we ended up,
rewind.
Yeah.
Let's go back
because the way we end up doing it at this point, it actually came about through the process of how most people tend to approach it, and we took it just a little bit further. So, in general, with tuition and teaching music lessons, I think the most important thing is that you are charging at least one lesson ahead of time. Right. So they need to have at least a balance of one lesson with you at all times, or you need to be having them pay
for the month.
Well, that would be the ultimate. I'm talking on the minimalist point of view, meaning just having at least one lesson ahead of time, or they need to pay you no later than 24 hours before your scheduled time. Now, that's like the least you should do. If you're showing up to somebody's house and they're paying you when the lesson is done for that particular lesson, that's a bad idea.
It is. There are exceptions to every rule, of course.
Yeah.
But
in a general
basis,
way, that's bad.
Yeah, it is bad. And the reason being is because simple explanation is they cancel. They cancel on you last minute.
There's no commitment.
You've booked your day, planned everything around that lesson, and then they cancel less than 24 hours in advance, and then you can't do anything about that. So at least if you're paid in advance,
you can always try. You can say, hey, you owe me for that lesson that you canceled on me.
Right, but then
and they can be like, well, then that causes
And that
tension.
causes
And,
tensions,
who
and
knows? You
some
might even
people
lose
may
the client.
and some people may never pay you, and you may lose the client. So we encourage you to be extremely upfront and have. I actually used to have, and I'm gonna put the school to the side, because with the school, this is a legit business. I mean, we're doing everything very
By the book.
business like. But if you're just on your own, independent, running your schools, running your own studio, going to people's houses, perhaps, and teaching, having some sort of a contract written out, printed out, very well written, that does state that you do have a 24-hour cancellation policy and that you do require payments in advance, and request for them to sign that contract upon sign up for classes, is extremely important, because that just kind of puts everything on paper and you get the message across. And if they ever forget, you can kindly remind them that this is what they had signed up for to begin with.
Yep.
It is important that you do that, because it's more often than not that you will get screwed.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I've
even
lost,
with people that have paid advance, they don't give 24 hours notice, and sometimes you want to be nice and let it go because of different reasons of why they didn't give the notice, and you can do that. You can be lenient with some clients, but anyways, it never fails that things will happen, right?
Definitely. So yeah, I mean, pay up front. That's what needs to happen. As I was saying, that at least one lesson is going to be the minimal. Monthly tends to be a standard where you end up collecting for the month that's coming up. You could, some people try to do it that they say, okay, the last lesson of, say, July, you need to pay for the month of August. And then the last lesson in August, you need to pay for September, right? So this is a reasonably good way to do it. I've done it like this many times. What we found out with that particular situation.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Yeah. Okay.
Was that, listen, most people do not pay on time. Okay? You tell them this due on this date, they don't pay that date.
Yeah.
Okay? So having the ability to give your clientele a little bit of wiggle room as far as, okay, here's the due date, but as long as it's within this range of dates, it's going to be a lot better. People are going to feel more comfortable about that. And so with this monthly thing, paying on the last lesson
or on the first,
we see, but
right,
now this would go against. That is, you should not do.
Oh,
definitely not.
A lot of people do that.
Yeah,
though.
that's terrible.
A lot of schools do that.
That's a bad idea though, because
In what way?
Because the problem is that now when that first lesson comes up, it's not paid for.
True.
Right? So now you have this person on your schedule that's booked out for that month, and now let's just say they no-show on that first lesson of that month, okay? So now you haven't been paid for it. They no-showed. They didn't even call and give you less than 24. They just no-showed. You call them up, and you're like, hey, so what happened? Oh, my God. Is it Monday? I can't believe it's Monday. I totally forgot. I'm so sorry. Well, listen, unfortunately, you no-showed. I'm going to need to charge you for this lesson. What do you mean you need to charge me for the lesson? I didn't come. Yeah, I know, but, I've had you on my schedule, and, this.
I booked the time.
But I don't want to pay for it. Well, I'm sorry. I really do. So now you're in a situation. Right.
And it's always uncomfortable, right?
Of course, yeah.
Like I honestly hate when I have to tell people, I'm so sorry, but I have to charge you.
Right.
Because I feel bad that they didn't get the lesson. But at the same time, it's like, dude,
but they need to feel bad for you too, right? There needs to be.
This is our time, and this is
Right.
I literally booked this time for you. I planned my whole day around you and around this time. So I one time I had a conversation with one of my students, adult students, who questioned this policy, and I said, "How would you feel if you went into work and you have an 8-hour shift, and then your boss just says, you know what?" You actually already did this, or you have a meeting with somebody, but that person didn't show up, so just go home, or I'm not going to pay you for this hour because I don't need you.
Right. It's like all of a sudden they just took money out of your pocket.
And it's like that doesn't happen in a normal job. In a normal job, you're there from this time to this time. This is what you do, and that's it. Regardless whether you have work or not, or whether the meeting happens or not, you are there for those amount of hours. So it's the same thing. And unfortunately, sometimes people, because music is a luxury and music is a fun extracurricular activity, they don't approach it with the same seriousness as other things.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure
and
true.
therefore, our job suddenly is not that serious. It almost becomes like a hobby when it's not a hobby.
Right, exactly.
So that's...
Well, yeah, and that's, so collecting on the first is just, it's going to, or the first lesson, that's just going to cause or open the possibility of having a little bit of tension and just a bad situation that it is avoidable with a different method,
Right.
I know, like, some schools will do their thing where on the first of the month, not your first lesson, but the first of the month, you have to have a credit card on file.
Right.
And it's an immediate automatic withdrawal.
That's how the previous school I used to, Rock Nation we used to work at, that's what they did. They had automatic payments. I mean, some clients actually were not on automatic payments. So I guess they were just hoping they pay.
Right. But even there, it still ends up in this situation where, if you run their card on the first and then they see it show up and then they're like, oh, I wanted to quit this month and now on the third and now you got to deal with the chargeback and
all that stuff.
and then you also now you did lose. I mean, you were going to lose the client one way or the other. They had made up their mind that they wanted to leave, but now you didn't know. Now this month that's upon you and you're in, you just lost.
Yeah, and now you have suddenly an open slot, which could have been given to somebody else that possibly requested it, but it wasn't available at the time, and they went somewhere else.
Which leads us into my concoction of a tuition policy.
Of how we do it at SoundCheck Music School, which it was a very, to be honest with you, I had a very hard time with this, the way we run things at
you didn't like it.
SoundCheck at first.
I was scared to do it.
I didn't like it. And I didn't like it because I felt bad. I felt like we were asking way too much from the client. Now I think it's been working great. I mean, we've been doing this for 5 years now.
No. Because we didn't do it like this right away.
Right.
We were doing it similarly to what ways that we just talked with, like the last lesson of the month, trying to collect and and then also setting up. What really pushed me to this was a few things, but there was some trial lessons that we did that people never showed up, and also a few clients that were late on their payments, had taken 1 to 2 lessons in that month, and when I called again to try to get them to pay tuition, they're like, well, we're done, or they would just straight up ignored me. I never heard from them ever again. So now I ended up as a business paying my teacher for that time, because I do respect my teacher's time, and I would not take that from them. But that happened, and that happened a couple times in the beginning.
Enough to want to do something about it.
So I don't know when we implemented this particular thing. Maybe around a year.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
A year into
the business.
Yeah. So that's what I said. So 5
years. Wow.
That's what I said. Hello.
Holy moly.
Oh my gosh. You see? Completely discrediting.
For some reason, I thought the business was 5. It's actually 6.
No, it is 6. I said we've been doing this for the past 5 years, and like I said, I was having a hard time with it at first, but now I've totally seen the value. A lot of clients, we've run into issues with clients not being 100% down with it and not understanding why or whatever, but once explained and once they get into the routine of things, they realize, whatever, it's the same thing. Yep. So basically, just so you guys all know, since you're sitting on your at the edge of your chair waiting to hear, what do we do? We actually, do you want me to say it or would you like to go?
I'll do it.
All right.
Cool.
Wow, like the announcement of the year. It's really not that big of a deal, guys.
It's not.
Okay,
no, but essentially we have people pay for 2 months when they start. And
we do give a discount, a 20% off discount.
But we do require them to pay for the first 2 months up front. And the reason we do that is because our tuition policy has them being always 1 month ahead. So what I mean by that is that let's say that they start lessons in the beginning of July, which means that they are going to pay for July and August. Now, when August comes, we ask them to pay for September.
So tuition is due again. So you can see it two different ways. You can either say, okay, you're paying for 2 months in advance, and it's kind of constantly 2 months in advance. Yeah, in a way. Or you're paying for your first and your last month.
Sure, that's another way to say it.
Right? So basically, when you're done with your lessons and you want to quit, you give us your 30 days notice and say you're in the month of November and you want November to be your last month. In November, we would be sending invoices for December. So you don't pay that invoice because you're going to stop in November, and November was already paid for in the month of October, or was already paid for in your initial sign up.
Yeah, either way you want to
so
look
you
at
can
it.
see it either way. Sometimes I've had to explain it both different ways because the client doesn't quite understand why we do it, or doesn't understand the concept exactly. So,
it can be a little confusing sometimes, especially if you get somebody that starts in the middle of the month.
Yeah.
It ends up creating this situation where you end up with some single lessons that you have to deal with, which can be a little messy.
And then people are like, well, hold on a second. I paid for 2 months. Why are you asking me for tuition again?
And that one too.
So we have to explain. So I do find myself explaining more often than not for every new client, going over again how we work tuition once I have to ask for tuition again,
right.
Before their first 2 months are up. Right. But it's always worked out in the end, and everybody's very understanding. And the reason, behind it is, again, what Dan was explaining before.
There's a few reasons.
Is that in the past, we have found ourselves for people to be late on their initial payments or their monthly payments, stopping lessons without having paid for what they already took. And also, even if they were paid for what they took, stopping so abruptly their lessons. And even though they're paid up, suddenly that leaves us with an open gap and the teacher with a gap that they didn't expect for that month that literally we're in. And that's just not fair or professional for that person with no notice.
Right.
So it is out of respect for all parties involved that we just kind of keep the communication extremely open and in advance.
Right. And, it creates a deeper commitment for the student as well.
Does.
And I think that that's a good thing. In the end, we want people that take it seriously, that are committed. Mm-hmm. And something like asking for the 2 months up front, that is not too much, for somebody that is committed, and that's the kind of client you want,
And let me just add to that, right? There's no contract. So even though we ask for the 2 months up front, we don't say, okay, you're due 2 months and then you have to sign up for a third month. And we give, like I said, we give a 20% off discount for your initial sign up because we understand it's a big amount of money up front. So but there's absolutely no contract. So doing 2 months minimum and then you want to leave, you can leave. But that gives you a good idea on whether you want to continue or take this seriously.
Right.
A month worth of lesson is not going to give you that idea. So 2 months, which we equal out to 9 lessons, is a great way to start. And then you can decide,
Well, they need to be deciding around the 5th, though.
They do want to decide around the 5th. But usually, usually they have decided. And let me also add that we are pretty flexible. Like, okay, you mentioned earlier the late payments, right? So even though we invoice people always in the first of the month for the following month, because of the way we do it, we're actually not in a whole rush to receive that payment because the month that we currently are in is already paid for. We're only asking for money in advance. Therefore, that gives us the chance to be extremely flexible with our clients and not have tuition due by the 1st.
Yeah, and not have to hounding them consistently. We send out our invoices on the 1st of the month. Okay. We send out a reminder on the 8th of the month. And then we send out the flying monkeys on the 15th.
And then we send out...
no laughing there?
Death threats via text, anything after the 15th. which reminds me, I do have to send a few tomorrow. again, there's no stress, right?
Right.
Listen, there are clients that don't pay by the 15th either.
Yeah,
but
happens.
we know them, and there's a pattern, and we know it's always the same clients, and it's okay. Well, not everybody can do it, and we have a mutual understanding. But again, it does not. At least we don't carry on that stress so much.
Right.
And so that's why we do it. When you're running your own studio and you're perhaps going to people's houses, that may be hard to get, but at the same time, I think it's worth trying.
The thing is this: it may be hard to get, but you have to entice them. Right.
Yeah.
And maybe you need to offer a 30% discount when they do something like that. Maybe you have to maybe give them some kind of another break or some kind of a perk for doing it. You'd have to work it. You got to be creative.
Maybe not. Come on, you're driving to their house.
Not. Yeah. Well, listen. The
that's even more of a commitment on the teacher's side.
The premium needs to be baked into all of that anyway. Yeah. So that's already considered. Yeah. That should already be considered in your pricing. So, but adding an initial discount on something, if you wanted to do that, you just got to be creative, and you can find different ways with different people. The beautiful thing is if you are your own individual teacher, you're not working for a school and you're setting your own, you can do whatever the heck you want, You
can. The one thing, though, that I am going to insist is that I think that keeping a 24-hour cancellation policy is extremely important. No matter how you end up collecting tuition, which, again, highly encourage you at least having some sort of payment 24 hours in advance prior to the lesson. Mm-hmm. But the 24-hour cancellation policy is extremely important. I'm part of Facebook groups and forums of other teachers, and so many times I see a post of, commenting, hey, what do you guys do about 24-hour cancellation? I'm new or whatever. How do you guys run your studio? And I've seen responses of teachers, some teachers be like, oh, I don't care. If they cancel, they cancel. It's okay. I'm always very nice about it, and we just reschedule. I honestly think that makes you look extremely unprofessional.
Yep.
Not committed to your own job.
Yep.
Because, that means that you also could just cancel randomly.
Sure.
And oh, well.
And I guess if that's what you want to do, then,
Yeah.
But it doesn't, it's not a good thing.
No.
That's for sure. Now, whether or not you give them leeway and give them a break on certain last minute cancellations and still reschedule anyways, that's your choice, and sometimes that's the right thing to do.
Yeah, I've done it many times.
Oh man, I've done it many times where I just,
let it go.
It could be I enjoy the student and I just want to keep helping that student. It could be I genuinely believe that they're excuse was legit,
or they generally have a good rapport, and
they never do it,
exactly,
and
the other thing too, I have a day during the week which is not my normal working day, but I do have a couple clients that they're actually they're house calls, and they're sometimes they cancel last minute. But for me, I just know that day is not a guaranteed day. And I'm not going to work anyways. I'm not going to try to schedule other students on that day. So if my house call cancels, I don't care. So it's not really a make or break for me. It didn't cause me any hassle or I didn't, it's whatever. Okay, they canceled.
Right.
It is what it is.
Yep. Again, we've talked about the discount stuff too, and I think, as an independent music teacher, and, maybe you're running your own studio, offering discounts can be a good thing. It really can. And I think, we offer other discounts as well. We offer a multi-family or multi-instrumental discount. We offer 10% if you have a family that has 2 kids taking lessons. We offer that at the studio. I don't offer that if it's outside. Well, the house call thing, listen, but again, you could, because you just have to bake it into the premium.
It's up to them.
As long as, you can do it. Mm-hmm. And,
that's a beautiful thing, that you can do whatever you want.
Right. You can offer that. And sometimes that'll entice a family to say, okay, well, let me actually sign, since you're already here, or since I'm already here, let me have my other one come in as well. And, now it's, you're giving a discount, but you're also making extra money.
Yeah.
You know.
What are your thoughts on a free trial lesson?
No.
Elaborate.
No.
Great. Next. We used to do free trials.
Yeah, listen,
actually, I think that most music schools around in the area do offer a free trial lesson.
They may.
They do. We don't.
Free.
Because we're stingy. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, no, it's not about the stinginess.
It's not about that at all.
I think, again, it's about the commitment thing as well. And
well, we had experience.
Oh
my gosh. We had experience with free trial lessons, and most of the time people
didn't show up.
And we would book the teacher.
So we do a heavily discounted.
Heavily
discount. We do 45% off your first
50?
lesson. Huh? Because we basically charge enough to pay the teacher.
Oh, that's right. That's why.
So that the school doesn't really make any money off of the trials. All the money that comes in essentially goes to the teacher for the most part. So that's where we came up with that number. So yeah, we do offer that heavily discounted first lesson. The free trial, I think it cheapens your brand. Mm-hmm. Okay, you are better than free. You are better than free. And there's no, you just are. If you don't think you are, then you need to get better, because you shouldn't be doing.
Well, one
something
would
for
say
free.
that by enticing them with a free lesson, you get their feet in the door, and you then sell them on your actual good product.
But the thing is this: if you can't get them through the door with even a 45% off, then you don't want them in your door. You don't. They're not. Okay. They're not that committed. They're not that interested.
Yeah.
That's how I would look at it. If they're not willing to pay 45% off for something, then they're not. You don't want them as a customer. You just don't. That's how I would look at it. I'm not saying that to be cold. It's just listen. We're all trying to better our lives. We're trying to run an efficient business, and we're trying to make the best.
I don't think
of our
any
life
other
and time.
industry gives a free.
There
some
probably are.
doctors can give free consultation.
Yeah, sure. There are some that definitely do it, but I don't believe in it, and I don't.
But again, it is a personal opinion.
It is, absolutely. I mean, if you want to offer it, go right ahead.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not going to bash you for it, but for me, it's just I found it to be. First off, people, I've scheduled a handful of free trials, and then they just never show up because they're not committed. True. They don't. What is it? What do they lose?
So it's like,
what do they lose?
Sorry.
They lose nothing. They just stole your time, and it's...
Or for whatever reason, maybe they didn't like what they heard on the phone, like price-wise or whatever, but
they didn't tell you.
They felt so bad to say it, and they're like, okay, sure, we'll sign up for the free lesson,
but
they won't show up because they don't want to commit to what the future tuition looks like.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, and they don't tell you because they feel bad, and then you're like...
Right.
Please tell me you're not
and nowadays
coming.
too, it's just you need to be able to accept online payments. That's end of story.
Yeah, that's the other thing we do.
Yeah.
We do have an online system. We actually use. Let's give a little shout out to My Music Staff.
Yeah, My Music Staff.
That could be a topic we could talk about later on. But we use mymusicstaff.com. It's been extremely good to us. We really like it. It's a scheduling app. Well, not an app. It's a scheduling website.
It's a platform.
Yeah. So they are developing an app actually, but you can also receive payments through it, and
it's integrated with PayPal business.
Yeah. So there's a lot of platforms out there that do similar things. We've been using My Music Staff. It's been great. It's been working for us. But anyways, that gives us the chance to actually take online payments aside from Venmo or directly to PayPal or anything. It looks much more professional.
Yes.
So it is something that nowadays all of you independent teachers that even work from home or go to house calls should have available and should expect from a client to be able to do, especially for that initial lesson that you want to get paid for and you're not going to see the person before.
Yep.
Yeah. Another thing is make sure that you do accept credit cards too. Especially nowadays with the way the world is right now, that everything is cashless for the most part. A Square right? A
Yep.
Square little reader.
PayPal has a reader as well.
And Square is free. You literally sign. I mean, I don't know. We're not advertising, but
No.
we're just doing things that work for us.
Yep.
And that's how we accept credit card payments at the school. We
It's
take Square.
By Square, yeah, on the phone.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's
So, there's always fees involved with all of these things,
but it's worth it.
Yeah.
You know-
Some people will talk about, hey, should we pass on the fee to the customer? And some people do that. They'll put a 3% charge if you want to pay by credit card. We haven't done that at this point.
Not as a school. I
No.
used to when I was on my own.
Yeah.
I actually would do that, the
Right.
3% charge on the credit card. If I were to go back to that, I don't know. It just depends on the scenario,
Yeah.
honestly. But I don't,
To me, if you're gonna listen, if you're interested in like charging that premium or charging that, adding like just put it on your price. Don't say that it's an extra charge because of the credit card. Just make your price that price.
Also, though, isn't it tax deductible?
What
So
of course.
please know that, guys, right? That if you
All
are
those-
being charged any fees through PayPal, credit card, any fees like that, when you do your taxes and as an independent contractor or a business,
Yeah.
those are
Takes off. Yeah.
taxable, tax deductible,
Right.
right? Tax deductibles.
Exactly.
So be aware of that too. That it's going to work towards your favor, at some point.
In the end. So, but yeah, I would just say bake it into your price. Just whatever your price is plus 3%. That's your new lesson rate.
Right.
And just don't bother. And honestly, if somebody pays a check in cash, that's still their lesson rate. Whatever.
Or you can tell, give you a little discount if you pay with check or cash.
Yeah, sure. If you want to entice it that way.
Yeah, and then with the discount is that 3% off.
Instead of saying, I'm going to charge you 3% to use your credit card, say that I'll save you 3% if you pay cash or check. Something like that.
You can say
Yeah,
that.
whatever.
Yeah.
If that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So basically, just to sum everything up, accept payments in advance. Have
Demand
a 24-hour
payments in advance.
demand payments in advance. Have a 24-hour cancellation policy. The how long in advance payment that you want is completely up to you. There's multiple ways, different ways that you do about it. Obviously, we talked about all the different ways that we think exist.
Some would even do where
6
you
months
play,
in advance.
Yeah, sure. 3 months,
Yeah.
6 months, 1 year.
But that could be just an option. Like you could say, if you pay 6 months in advance, I give you this discount.
Yeah, you give an extra.
Right. Otherwise, no client is going to just randomly want to sign up for 6 months unless there's a reason for it. Unless they're like, oh, wow, that's actually worth it. And we know we're going to do this for 6 months.
I don't think we've ever had anybody do that.
No.
We've had somebody we've had a few, I think, take advantage of the 3 month in advance where we give, I think we did 5% off the 3 months or something like that.
Anyways, but if it did happen, it happened like once.
Yeah, once
in the 6
I can
years.
remember one in particular that did it.
Yeah. So 24-hour cancellation, payments in advance. Make sure you have online payments set up, credit cards that you do accept credit card payments, and also accept payments via PayPal. Maybe sending out an invoice to look more professional, and then Venmo, of course, is always an option. But Venmo is really not.
It's not designed for
fine.
business transactions.
No, but we
though.
do have a lot of clients that actually
Sure.
prefer to send us via Venmo.
Sure.
And it's fine because we don't get any fees with it, so we accept it. Also, Zelle or any other kind
Sure.
of bank transfer is good too. Just again, be available to take payment that does not require a check or cash.
Right. Exactly.
That's all. So that's up with that.
Yeah.
So let's move on to our trivia.
Uh-oh. So Dan looked pretty smart the last time.
Yes, he did. So again, we do this every week. It's Rock and Roll Triviologies. It is a board game that was created in 2003. And it says where music, trivia, memories, and emotions meet. A rock and pop music trivia game with over 1,300 questions. I'm the one who always asks the questions because I don't know any of these answers. So it is quite interesting.
Last week I got lucky.
But yeah, last week Dan looked amazing. He looked so smart.
Wicked smart.
Okay, wicked smart.
Wicked smart.
So let's start here. Let me look at the answers and see. Hold on. Did we do this already? This is such an easy one.
All right,
I know
softball.
this one. Okay, I guess I should give you this one.
Yeah, but okay, sure, whatever.
We'll start with a very easy
All
one.
right, thanks. I hope I know it. Jesus.
Let me finish the question first before you answer it, by the way, okay? Not like last time. So, Black Sabbath's original vocalist left to lead his own band in 1979. Who was he?
Is this a trick question?
He's faking it.
Ozzy, man. Ozzy Osbourne.
Of course, Ozzy Osbourne.
The Prince of
Oh my God.
Darkness.
I like that I said I don't know any of these answers. And then, of course, that comes out. Okay. Let me ask you one more of this. In 1989, when Pete Townsend inducted this English band into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, he advised them to not try to grow old gracefully because it wouldn't suit them. So does that mean like no plastic surgery or something? What does that mean? Oh, party hard.
So
that's
wait,
what
so
that
Pete
means.
Townsend inducted this band?
Inducted this English band into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He advised them to not try to grow old gracefully because it wouldn't suit them.
Rolling Stones?
Yeah.
Oh.
But isn't that interesting? So does
Yeah.
that mean like he was saying party hard, guys, because this is not the image we want for the band? No, we don't want the clean image. We want
Yeah,
the
I'm guessing.
drugs, rock, sex.
Interesting
Ju-
word. Interesting order
Drugs,
there, election. No,
drugs,
sex, drugs, and rock and roll, dude.
We want the sex. We want Rolling Stones to represent sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Yeah. I'm guessing, yeah.
Interesting. I did not know this. You see?
Who's Pete Townsend?
It's Pete Townsend.
Yeah, of course, the one and only.
Somebody who inducts people in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Who is it?
Guitar player,
Oh.
The Who.
Oh. Who?
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
You know it.
Yep, I do. Okay, let's see these answers. Okay. Let's go for a 90s question. The 1996 LP, Yourself or Someone Like You, won the Recording Industry Achievement Awards Diamond Award for what band?
What year was it?
1996. And the LP was called Yourself or Someone Like You. Won the Recording Industry Achievement Awards Diamond Award. For what band? What the heck? Diamond? What is this?
I have no idea. I've never heard of that award. But it's a band?
It is a band.
Yourself or Someone Like You. Do I know this band?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah?
know the band.
Yeah, I have no idea. I've never heard of that album.
I'm trying to think of a song, but I can't.
Give me the first letter of it. Is it one word?
There's a digit in it, the title of the band.
Oh.
And it's not Blink 182. But it's something similar.
What, 9 Inch Nails? No.
No.
What is
No,
it?
it's 9 Inch. No, it's actually something similar. Like, is it similar music? I don't know if it's similar music, but
No. I don't know.
Matchbox 20.
Oh my God.
Would you say that's similar music to Blink 182?
No.
No, not at all, right?
No.
Matchbox 20 is like more pop, right?
Yeah. It's
I
not.
can't even remember any of their music right now.
Yeah, I mean, there was probably one song that I could maybe remember when
Anyways,
if
sorry,
I heard it.
Travis. I don't mean to like. Okay. Let's pass this. I don't like this card.
Matchbox 20.
Okay. English punk rocker William Broad fronted the group Generation X and later had a successful solo career as who?
I have no idea.
What are you talking about?
Generation X?
Yes.
I don't know that band.
You know this guy. Like, very well.
Generation X?
Yes.
This is British, you said?
Yes.
What year? Any years?
I don't know. English punk rocker William Broad. So that's his original name. I didn't know this. Fronted the group Generation X and later had a successful solo career as well. Actually,
I have no idea.
I'll tell you the reason I know Generation X is because I know there's a cover band that exists that's called Generation X or yeah. Anyways, it's Billy Idol.
Oh.
Billy Idol's Generation X. I think there's There's a cover band that I know of that I know people in it. So that's why
It's funny. Like I don't think of punk rock and Billy Idol.
Oh, that's right, huh?
I don't. I mean, Billy Idol. I just think it's more rock.
No.
I don't think. I mean, I can see it.
Not punk, but more
but not
like
punk rock. Yeah, but I don't know Generation X. I've never heard of that band, so I don't know. But like for me, I don't see Billy Idol as a punk rocker.
Yeah.
I see him as a rocker. I mean, I guess kind of maybe, but I don't know. I just for some reason I just don't associate him.
Okay, we're gonna do one more,
rock.
and then we're ending this podcast because it's taking too long. And my mom is calling again.
She always calls right in the middle.
Time? Yeah, it happened last time. Okay, so last time. There we go. Okay, this Jacksonville, Florida formed group topped the charts in 2000 with their third album, the uniquely titled Chocolate Starfish and the Hot Dog Flavored Water.
Oh yeah, Chocolate Starfish and hot dog.
That is a album title?
Yeah.
What the heck?
I do know this band. Why can't I
Yes.
think of it though? From Florida.
Jacksonville, Florida.
It's not like Limp Bizkit, is it?
Yes,
All right.
it is Limp Bizkit. Awesome. Okay, well
I
that's
did
all
it all for the nookie.
Okay. That's all for tonight. Thank you guys so much for listening to us and our podcast. Please check us out at soundcheckmusicschool.com. You can also find us on Instagram at Soundcheck Music School or on Facebook, Soundcheck Music School LA, or YouTube and all that stuff. So also, please feel free to leave in the comments at any platform that you do listen to this podcast on any suggestions on topics that you would like for us to talk about in the future. We are very open to that and very welcoming of it. Again, this was Soundcheck Music School's podcast, episode 11. My name is Electra Barakos.
And Dan Welby.
Have a great night.
See you.